Well, greetings everyone. Briz here, and I'm just south and west of Westphalia, Missouri, and we're on a Department of Conservation area called Painted Rock, and the Osage Bluff Scenic Trail is out here, and it's a 1.6 mile trail, and I'm going to try to see how many laps I can go today. I'm kind of getting in shape for my Appalachian Trail hike, which is coming up about 3 weeks. So I got my pack on, everything to even spend the night, even though I'm not going to do it. I just want to kind of give my back a load test and see how things go. So I'll share with you a little bit as we go along the trail and some of the views that you can see if you come out here for a day hike. It'd be a nice place to come and have a picnic. Oh, it's a nice day out here. It's overcast, and it looks like it could rain any time. I do have my rain gear on me, but with the tree cover, I'm hoping I don't need it. But it's gorgeous out here. Nice cool temperature. It's probably in the upper 60s. I've been out here I don't know how many times. Dozens of times. I moved into this area back in '93, and it was shortly after that when I discovered Painted Rock Conservation Area. A lot of hardwoods. This maybe if I show this up high, you can see where I've been walking. It's a nice treadway, and this stays pretty level till we get out to the lookout for the Osage River, which I'll show you here in a few minutes. And just a little bit less than 6/10 of a mile from the parking lot, the trail comes out to this wonderful panoramic view of the Osage River. And I'm guessing it's possibly 20 miles from here to the Missouri River. So the island that you see in the center screen, that's called Bloody Island. There are many stories and legends about Bloody Island. The most repeated story is about buried treasure on or near the area, but the story has several versions. One is that an army payroll was buried on the island during the Civil War. Another story from the book Stories from Painted Rock Bluff describes the adventures of a young Spaniard who, in order to marry his sweetheart in St. Louis, went west to make his fortune, and did. His party was returning loaded with gold when they encountered Indian trouble while camped at the junction of the Osage and Mary's rivers. They fled up the Osage by canoe. Shortly after passing a bluff with many paintings on it, the party pulled into the riverbank and hid the gold and themselves. Later, leaving the gold, they made a dash down the Osage to the Missouri River. However, all were killed or fatally injured. One Indian guide lived long enough to pass on the directions to the treasure. Using these directions, many have searched unsuccessfully over the years, apparently even before the story was published. So we work our way down the bluff. we're going to be going almost to the level of the river and then back up a hill. And I have to commend whoever built this trail. Did a nice job. They put switchbacks in it, and as you can see, they've done some trail maintenance to maintain the treadway. It's pretty nice out here. There are a few places off of the trail that is open to camping. Oops, let's go through the trees. And for day hikers, I want to point out that they do have benches like this so that you can stop and observe nature for as long as you like. Whew. This is a nice spot. Now this is not the trail. It's going to take you, or we're getting closer down to the river. You can barely see it through the trees. One thing of interest I'd like to tell you a little story about. This tree, if you see it in the center of the screen, has a big bulge on it. And the wind's not blowing now, but when the wind is actually coming from the southwest, it will bend this tree over to the rocks. And the one rock that you see sticking out of the bluff area, that is actually what caused that sore spot on the tree, because as it blew over to it, it gouged it out, and a lot of times the tree would be rocking back and forth as if that rock was trying to saw the tree in half. And I've been out here at times when that was actually occurring, but today it looks like it's 18 inches away from that rock. Thought maybe you'd like to see that. Well, according to the GPS, I've gone 1.11 miles, and the rain has stopped, so I got my camera out. I'm using a Samsung ST600. It takes good pictures, seems to have good sound for the most part. The only thing its downfall is it's not really waterproof. So I use it, I store it. Whoo, gotta get my breath. I store it in a decontamination kit that I use. Got some bubble wrap in there for padding, and the camera fits in it perfectly. But still, there's a chance for humidity that can get into the electronics. So during wet weather, it's all right to keep it in that airtight canister during the fall, rainfall, but at the first chance you get when you're in dry conditions is to pop that lid open and let that camera sit out in the sun. I'm not sure what the life cycle of this camera would be under a through hike condition, to tell you the truth. But I may have to break down and buy me a helmet cam or something like that that's waterproof. And We made it to the top of the hill on the southwest portion of the lake, and we come to another observation deck. And there's the Osage River again. And look at the farmland. Let me zoom in. There's cows down there in the field. A wonderful farmhouse. I bet they have some wonderful evenings out here on a starlit sky. Okay. The trail, this is the last view of the Osage River. Oh yeah, isn't that pretty? Man, that river out there is like glass. It's reflecting the mountain, or the hillside, I should say. There's no mountains in Missouri. I guess there's one, it's Tomsock, but it's quite a few miles from where I'm located. Yeah. Still beautiful nonetheless. Okay. Now the trail goes back into the woods. And from here, it pretty much follows along the side of the ridge that comes straight out west from the parking lot out to the last deck. And this trail going back stays just a little bit off the peak of the ridge parallel, so there's the inclination of the trail stays like this pretty much throughout the last 3/4 of a mile back to the vehicle. Well, this completes lap number 2, which, according to the trail map, would have been 3.2 miles. Just a little bit of telling you what I've been carrying. I'm carrying the mountain hyperlight mountain gear equipment. I've got the Hyperlight System 2 sleeping system, plus their Wind River pack. And the total weight was about 23 pounds today. And just wanted to let y'all know that I'm enjoying this. I'm looking forward here if I can get a picture of my pack. And I think I'll be ready to go out and do some camping, hiking with my son next month on the Appalachian Trail. I'm not going to be hiking with him. I'm going to do some jumping around from trailhead to trailhead and doing some day hikes with him, maybe spend a night or two, if not with him, by myself. So it's been a joy being with you today. If you've not subscribed, I ask that you would, and I'll keep you posted on the latest adventures of Briz. We'll see you.